And we're going to talk some more about Larry Burton, the missing 74-year-old man from Greensboro. This case is beyond sad and beyond frustrating because this old man, and yes, he's 74, and yes, I'm using the word old, so, don't come at me for that. He has dementia, he has diabetes, um, he was not in the best of health. And the fact that he walked out of a care facility or an assisted living facility, let me make that clear, which all it was a single family home that they had converted into a assisted living facility and that held the most 6 patients. The fact that he walked out of there to not be seen ever again in the last 2 weeks is beyond reprehensible. And what came out today just completely floored me even more. And I shouldn't be surprised by this, but it completely floored me. So before I get into that, let's talk about the fact that I'm Rebecca and this is Red True Crime. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for checking me out. And if you are returning, welcome back. If you've not subscribed, please do so. Share, comment, like, all that good stuff. So we're going to get into this. So Larry Burton is 74 years old. He was last seen July 3rd. What is today? July 18th? Yeah. So it's been 15 days and there's been no sign of him whatsoever. Police had to be urged by city council to come in and actually investigate. They looked, they had dogs for the first couple of days. After that, they kind of backed off. Greensboro police has not allowed any outside help come in, any volunteer dogs, any volunteer searchers. They kept saying it's a liability issue, which makes no sense to me because if you're not going to take your asses out there and look for this man, somebody has to. Simple as that. And the care facility that Larry Burton walked away from is called L&L Family Home Care. That is the name of the place. It's at no, let me write down what was it called. It's on Moody Street in Greensboro, 1215 Moody Street in Greensboro. That is where he left. Now, and I had to confirm this because I saw this in the reports, and I'm shocked that more people are not talking about this. Um, more people are talking about this. The care facility, L&L Home Care, is unlicensed. Yes, it is an unlicensed facility. So it does not surprise me that Larry Burton, after 8 days, walked out there with no sight to be seen again because he's sitting there in an unlicensed facility that probably hired who knows who to watch after the residents. So somebody who was not, familiar with dementia, somebody who's not trained to deal with dementia, that's a place that is not set up for a dementia patient. Hi everybody, thank you for joining. It's beyond frustrating, it's beyond angry that this man is missing and nobody is really looking for him. I mean, outside the family's looking for him. They're even hitting up the homeless community just so they can see if he's wandered in with them. But at this point, it's been 15 days. We have nothing but heat waves and torrential downpours with massive flooding throughout different parts of Greensboro, even in the area where he was last seen. I don't want to be negative, but in my opinion, it does not look good for him or his family finding him alive. And the fact that the facility he was in is unlicensed, the fact that the state is like, we've never heard of this place. Because there is, I looked on the list, and there is another L&L Family Care, and they're in, let's see, Pelham, North Carolina. I'm not sure where Pelham is, but it has the director. It's also a 6-bed facility. There's all that. And the person, I ran the address through the tax website, and it's owned by Diane Smith, and she's owned the house since 1986. So that tells me she also owns the care facility that's in that house. So she must be the person that is responsible for not having a license for that facility, and also responsible for hiring the people that were taking care of the people in that facility. So, Diane, where's Larry? You have a lot of explaining to do. So, that is what I have on Larry Burton. 15 days, no sign of him, and the facility he was in is unlicensed. So, God only knows who was running it. I mean, people, what they charge a month for that place for it to not to have a license is absolutely ridiculous. It's like $2,800 a month, and you don't have a license. So how I don't understand. How are you even getting this money? How are you getting state funded if you do not have a license? How's that even happening? That's what I don't understand. I had relatives with dementia. My mother-in-law was one. She was in a care facility in Cincinnati. We took care of her. Oh, they took care of her because we're in North Carolina, and it was not good. My husband's grandmother, another patient, she had severe dementia. She was also in a care facility, but it was an actual facility, like a hospital, like, not somebody's house that they refurbed and turned into a very small little, family home. It wasn't like that. So I don't know. Like I said, this is absolutely crazy how this is panning out. It really is. And that man still has not been, and the police don't want to do anything about it. And it's very aggravating and very angry. And there's just been too much going on in this town. And they need to find this man. They need to make an effort to find this man. They need to allow people to come in and help find this man before it's too late, which I think it may already be too late, but they need to do more. And they need to find this Diane Smith, or Diane Lucas, that was her married name. They need to find her and have her answer those questions like, why are you running a care facility without a license? Who have you hired to be in charge of this care facility? Why did you hire these people? Because there's a lot of explaining she needs to do. A lot. Yeah, but when that came back saying, nope, no license, they're unlicensed, I was floored. Why is your silence so loud? I'm not sure of the question there, my dear, but okay. Um, okay, so that is all I have right now on Larry Burton, because the plot gets deeper and deeper with this every day, that they don't find him, and now that we know only one person has owned this house since 1986, everything leads to Diane C. Smith or slash Lucas, whatever name she goes by. So there you have it. And then we also have the unfortunate case of a 2-year-old that died in a dental office. Was it yesterday morning? Very, very sad case. Family came down from Salisbury down to Greensboro for their son to get some oral procedure done on his teeth. He had some cavities. He's 2, and they had to put him under to do the procedure. And it's, from what it sounds like, he went into cardiac arrest. But here's where I have an issue. They were working on him. They had called an ambulance. They had carted him off in the ambulance before the parents were told anything. Okay, now I'm getting questions here. Let's see. Should you give up your seat to elders, even if it's a seat on someone's face? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. But my issue is, why didn't they get the parents to let them know that there was a problem? Why did they wait until the child was already in the ambulance and route to the hospital and deceased before they said anything? Anything could happen. My youngest child has a heart condition. She has to see a cardiologist before she has any dental work done. My oldest child is autistic and has epilepsy, same thing. He has to see, get clearances before he can have any work done. I mean, it's possible. He was 2. He may have had some underlying cardiac issue that they didn't know about. Anything is possible. But I cannot even imagine what this family is going through right now, losing a small child like that. I just cannot even imagine. But Greensboro Police is all about investigating that. Nice to meet you too. They're all about investigating that, but they have given up on Larry Burton, so which is very sad, and they need to find him. So the family has closure. They really do. And if you want to go into that, then let's talk about all the other people that have gone missing in this area. There's a lot. You've got Tierra Williams, and you have Marissa Carmichael, Elizabeth Jacobs, Nadia Black. Yes, USA. All in North Carolina, all in Greensboro. All these people have just upped and disappeared. Elizabeth Jacobs was living in a hotel off of Gate City, and she wasn't in the best of health. She had a feeding tube, and she had issues with epilepsy. She just upped and disappeared. She wasn't somebody who owned a car. She didn't get around much. Upped and disappeared. No sight of her whatsoever. Marissa Carmichael, we know about that case. I talk about that ad nauseum, with her being single mom, 5 kids, 25 years old, went out, never came home. Don't know whatever happened to her. I think there are people in her friend group that know what happened, but probably won't get an answer out of that. And then you have Nadia Black, who left work one night and never made it home. She worked over at the Greensboro Coliseum, and she was having an affair with a married man, and I think that may have played a role in some of her disappearance, but don't know. And she also suffered from depressive issues, so I don't know. But there's so many people that are missing, and every day I look and there's another name added to the list. And sometimes they get found right away, which is great, but then there's some that just keep going on being missing. And we have no information on to whether or not the investigation is going anywhere. It's all of it's sad. Okay, well, that's all I have for tonight. And like I said, if you want to subscribe to the channel, please do so. Share, like, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll be back when I have more information on something. So, oh, you're from New York City? Cool. And otherwise, good night, everyone. This is Rebecca with Red True Crime. Have a great evening. Be weird, be rude, be safe.